Allan Saxe, professor from Texas. Good morning, Allan. Good morning, Professor. Thanks for coming on.
I was a great pitcher when I was in the third grade. I was great. I lasted for about 2 innings, but was I good?
You were good.
I was great.
And then they put you to the outfield.
Then they put me on the bench. There could be 4 people show up for a sort of a pickup baseball game, and I still wouldn't be chosen. That's no joke.
Well, listen, now they all want you. Now
I don't know. I doubt it.
When they're looking for brains, they go to the professors.
I don't know.
So. All right. So what are we looking at right now? Of course, a big moment for President Trump in the fact that the House has passed their health care bill.
It really is. It passed very, very slow, by a low margin last week in the House, something like 217 to 213, just barely. It passed the House, and now it moves to the Senate, and it's going to have a much bigger hurdle, I think, in the Senate than it did in the House. The Republicans are split on this as well, and so probably the bill will be highly modified or maybe even rewritten, and then eventually it'll go to a conference committee. The House will select some members, the Senate will select some members, they'll meet together and try to work out a different bill. Then it'll have to go back to, if it's a substantially different bill than the House put out, it'll have to go back to the House, back to the Senate for a revote. And of course, President Trump will weigh in on it as well. So it's far from completed.
Yeah. It's interesting. The Freedom Caucus sending a message to the Senate saying, "Don't change this bill because if you do, it will never pass."
Yeah, everybody is shouting into it. Some senators are saying the same thing in the Senate, though, that it'll never pass the way it came out of the House. Even with the Freedom Caucus's support, Senator John McCain last week said that it's not going to pass the way it's now framed. So it's going to be a tough haul. President Obama weighed in on it yesterday. He was given a Profile and Courage Award, I think, by the Kennedy Foundation, and he asked the members of the Congress, be courageous in regard to the health bill. And I think I know what he means by that. Don't change it in any way whatsoever. Yeah. So everybody's waiting in on this, but it's going to be a topic of discussion for a long, long while to come.
How do you pass this and do it in a way that does what the president said from the very beginning? No one is going to. I think he was doing an interview with 60 Minutes before he became president, before he took office anyway, saying that no one is going to lose their health care. We're going to take care of those people that cannot afford health care. Everyone will be taken care of. The problem is, how do you get that financially? And
you're exactly correct. You're exactly right. By the way, on the other hand, what we know is Obamacare seems to be dismantling itself, imploding day by day. Insurance companies dropping out. I think there's one state that does not have any insurance company at all today that is willing to be under the Obamacare exchanges.
Yeah.
So it is a real mess from day one. So
what would be best, and I'm not sure if you ever talked to your students about this, but wouldn't it be best if back when Obamacare was first came to law, that Republicans and Democrats got together and made it work? In the same way, wouldn't it be nice if this upcoming year Democrats would work with Republicans to make this redo actually work? And guess what? Neither side is going to. I was complaining about it the other day. Neither side.
You're so right. It is not going to happen.
Right.
My students, I tell them, how many of you were on the Obamacare exchanges? Now, out of a pretty large classroom of a couple hundred students, only a few raise their hands. Mm-hmm. Most are on their parents' policies, or they have other policies that they have through different sources.
Right.
But very, very few seem to have gone on Obamacare. Of course, most are very, very young, and they can still stay on their parents' policies.
Sure.
Even aside from Obamacare, they could have done that a long time ago, and most did. But most of my students, unlike myself, they're very young, they're very healthy, they're beautiful, they're smart. They're not going to have any worry about this, most of them, for a long, long time to come. But it's a battle that's been going on in this country. Harry Truman is the very first American president that proposed something like a health care system, and that's been a long time ago. Most European countries have something like this, a socialized medical system. That's on the one hand.
Yeah.
On the other extreme, a more libertarian posture is, let's go to a complete free market system, get the government out of this completely. It is not going to happen.
And that's what Rand Paul is really really calling for. One other note, if I could, I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the French election.
Well, it was really not unexpected. Mr. Macron, Emmanuel Macron, who is not an establishment person himself, although he's a banker by reputation, but he was not one of the major political parties that were not even on the ballot.
And he's gone. There he goes. We get the dial tone. But I'll tell you, never held political office before. So this is as much of an anti-establishment vote as probably we saw, but in a different way here in the United States, right?
And you said 39 years old.
39, youngest president ever in the country of France. So